In Memento 2000, the story starts at what feels like the end. A Polaroid photo develops in reverse, the image fading instead of appearing. A man lies dead on the floor, and the shooter, Leonard Shelby, stands over him with a calm that doesn't match what he's done. From the first minute, the film tells you its rules. Time will move in broken pieces, cause and effect will be scrambled, and you'll be forced to live inside Leonard's reality, one where the last few minutes are all he can truly hold onto. Leonard has anterograde amnesia. He can remember who he was before a traumatic night, but he can't reliably form new memories afterward. Conversations reset. Rooms become unfamiliar. People become strangers again the moment they leave his sight. To survive, Leonard builds a system, Polaroids with notes, a wall of facts, and most importantly, tattoos etched into his skin so the information can't be lost, stolen, or rewritten in his own handwriting. He's on a mission that gives his life structure. He believes his wife was attacked and murdered, and he's hunting the man responsible, someone he calls John G. The movie tells two timelines at once. One unfolds in color but backwards, each scene ends where the previous one began, so you're constantly dropped into moments already in motion, trying to understand what Leonard has just done and why. The other timeline is in black and white, moving forward, usually showing Leonard alone, talking through his situation like he's reciting a case file to himself. The two threads inch toward each other until they collide, and when they do, the truth feels less like a reveal and more like a trap snapping shut. As Leonard moves through motels and diners, his investigation pulls him into two complicated relationships. One is with Teddy, a man who presents himself as a helpful contact, possibly a cop, possibly a liar, who seems to know Leonard's routine and knows exactly which buttons to press to steer him. Teddy acts friendly, but there's always an edge. He talks like someone who's done this before, like Leonard is a predictable machine he can operate if he says the right words. The other relationship is with Natalie, a woman Leonard meets through the trail he's following. Natalie is sharp, wounded, and not as helpless as she initially appears. She offers Leonard help, information, access, a place to regroup, but she's also carrying her own agenda. Natalie quickly realizes what Leonard's condition means. He can be guided, manipulated, and used because he will forget the manipulation even happened. And Leonard, despite how disciplined he tries to be, is still vulnerable to anyone who can act convincing in the moment. The more Leonard digs, the more the film shows how fragile his facts really are. He treats his notes and tattoos like truth, but those truths are created by someone, often by Leonard himself, in a moment he won't remember later. A note can become a weapon. A Polaroid can become a lie. A missing detail can shift an entire story. And because Leonard can't track his own changes over time, his certainty becomes the easiest thing for other people to exploit. Running beneath the main plot is another story Leonard tells repeatedly. The case of Sammy Jankees, a man with a similar memory condition. Leonard describes Sammy as proof that some people can't be helped, and he uses the story to reassure himself that his own system makes him different, more functional, more purposeful. But the way Leonard tells it feels slightly off, like a memory that's been polished and reshaped to serve his current needs. It's not just an anecdote, it's a mirror. As the timelines converge, Leonard's hunt narrows to a handful of suspects and signals. License plate numbers, handwriting, partial names. He keeps chasing John G., but the film quietly suggests there's a darker problem than not knowing who the killer is. Leonard doesn't even know whether the version of the mission he's living today is the same mission he started with. People keep implying he's been on this path for a long time. Teddy, in particular, hints that Leonard has done this before, that he's already gotten revenge, and that what's left isn't justice, just momentum. When Leonard finally corners Teddy and demands the full truth, Teddy drops a bomb that reframes everything. He claims Leonard already found and killed the man who attacked his wife long ago, but Leonard couldn't hold on to the satisfaction because he can't remember it. According to Teddy, Leonard's life can't continue without a target, so the mission keeps rebooting. The hunt doesn't end because Leonard can't live in an ending. Teddy also suggests that Leonard's most painful fact, that his wife was murdered in the attack, may be wrong, or at least not as simple as Leonard believes. The film points toward a devastating possibility. Leonard's wife may have survived the initial assault, and Leonard's own actions afterward, tangled in confusion, testing, and misplaced certainty, may have contributed to her death. And that's where the real horror of the story lands. Leonard doesn't just suffer from memory loss. He suffers from the ability to rewrite himself. When Teddy's truth threatens to take away Leonard's purpose, Leonard makes a choice not out of rage but out of survival. He decides Teddy is the enemy. He plants evidence for his future self, manipulating his own system so that the next Leonard, the one who will wake up without context, will know Teddy is guilty. He writes down details that will guide him, tattoos information that will harden into destiny, and ensures that the version of himself who comes later will feel justified. The final movement of the film is both an ending and a beginning. Leonard sets himself on a path he won't remember choosing, and the movie loops back to the opening image, Leonard executing a man he has convinced himself deserves it. The tragedy isn't that Leonard can't remember. The tragedy is that he can still believe. His conviction is absolute because he experiences each decision as if it's the first time he's made it. By the time Memento ends, you understand the shape of the trick. The mystery isn't only who did it. The deeper question is, what is a person without a continuous memory, and what happens when that person builds a life out of clues that can be forged? Leonard's system gives him direction, but it also gives him the power to manufacture meaning. And in the cruelest twist, the one person Leonard trusts most is the one person guaranteed to lie convincingly to him, himself.